Welcome to Real Judaism with Rabbi Ari Klapper. Unfiltered wisdom for Jewish life.
Perek Gimel, we started already with the line be'erich. V'zeh b'shah ma'aseh v'shelo b'shas ma'aseh. When does a person have to think about these two things? He has to think about what the right thing is and what he's doing. When does a person do that? The person does it b'shas ma'aseh v'shelo b'shas ma'aseh. What does it mean b'shas ma'aseh v'shelo b'shas ma'aseh? Says the Ramchal, b'shas ma'aseh shelo yaseh shum ma'aseh b'li shish kolotcha m'maznei zois ha'idiyah b'shel, right? The first one is that a person needs to think before they do something. Now, a lot of times this is very hard. It's a very hard thing to do. Most of the time, people just go based on instinct. They just do whatever they do. The truth of the matter is that sometimes instinct is inborn and sometimes instinct is acquired. In other words, what you end up doing instinctively doesn't necessarily mean that's the way you were born. But you could have been trained to do that. Let's take, for example, like a Navy SEAL, right? Somebody who is a commando, a very high-level soldier. So they react so fast to situations, they don't have time to think about the way they're reacting. It's the training that they have that automatically, within a split second, they do what they need to do, even without thinking about it, because that's how they train their bodies. Yes, it's true, they have to make split-second decisions as well, but they have to move so fast, they have to do things so fast that they train their bodies to move like that. A person's not born like that. A person trains themselves to do things like that. Sometimes a person does have natural instincts that a person is born with, like a fight or flight reflex, that automatically the adrenaline kicks in one way or another. You're either running for your life or you're fighting for your life. But a person can certainly train themselves to do this. And it's not going to happen on the first second, the first time that they have to deal with this, that's going to happen. But certainly a person can train themselves to do the right thing, right? And really that's what Hashem wants from us. And if let's say, for example, a Shmir Sinayim type example, right? Let's say you're walking down the street and there's an inappropriately dressed lady that passes right by. So if your instinct has not been trained yet, your eyes might just follow it because that's your natural instinct. A man's natural instinct would be to follow that picture in front of him. When a person trains themselves to not do that, and there are ways of doing that, so then the new instinct will be to dafka look away. So that's what it means, b'shas ma'aseh, that when something happens, we need to make sure that I'm controlling myself right at that moment. I don't do things without thinking about it, or I thought about it beforehand, and I know I need to train myself to not do something, or yes to do something. And because I train myself to do that, I'm able to do it. That's something it doesn't take as long as a person thinks. I mean, my whole life will never be able to do that. Not true. That's not true. A person can do this over the course of his life as long as they're really interested in getting it done. V'shelo b'shas ma'aseh, sheyal le'panav zichron klal ma'aseh v'yishkol osam kemo kein b'moizni hamishkal hazeh, lira'ot ma yesh bam mehara leman yitcheh oto, u'ma min ha'toiv la'asmid boi u'litchazik boi. And when it's not the time, when it's not actually happening in front of you, really it's a little bit out of order because this should be first. When it's not right in front of you, and I know this is a problem, I know that I constantly have this nisayon, I know that I have to deal with this. Think about it beforehand. What can I do to make sure this doesn't happen? And if that involves training your eyes or training your body or training your mind to do it, then that's what you have to do. Right? A person doesn't have the p'tur and say, Rabbi, it's too hard. Life's hard. Life's hard. If we do things the right way, so then you'll be okay, right? Something is too heavy. I don't have enough muscles. I'm not strong enough. So if you really care about it, you'll work on yourself in order to build up your muscles. So it's no worse with your ruchnis muscles. I need to build up my ruchnis muscles in order to be able to handle this situation. So that means I have to think about it beforehand. If I think about it beforehand and I know that this is what I need to do, then I'll be able to do it. I train myself beforehand, then I'll be able to do it. If a person doesn't do it, so then every time they get to the nisayon, I fall every time. Yeah, because you never put in the effort before. If you put in the effort, right? Nobody's showing up to play at the Super Bowl unless they train themselves to get to that point. Nobody's Nobody has the ability to overcome the big struggles unless they train themselves beforehand. The person can do that. Obviously, the best way of doing it is Talmud Torah. But even without Talmud, even not without Talmud Torah, even there are other things that we can add to train ourselves. Certainly, when regards to our example here of Shmir Sinai, there's certain things people can do in order to accomplish that. But this is not only in that. Obviously, any nisayon the person should be doing these 2 steps. Okay, we'll stop over here.
Thank you for joining Real Judaism, where we explore Torah's wisdom for real life. Created by J Foundations and produced by Eli Podcast Productions. Find more episodes at realjudaism.org and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.